everyone, welcome to Hanna Worldwide and Friends, the podcast about living abroad, where people like you and I can share our own stories. In today's episode, I want to introduce myself to you all and tell you about my own personal story and the background and reasons why I started this podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Hanna and I would love to tell you all about my story of living abroad and moving overseas in this first episode. So I was growing up in Germany in a very small town close to Berlin, and I was a very shy person, quite introvert, not really the center of attention. But my parents started traveling with us when I was around 12, maybe 10. And I absolutely loved it. So the freedom and the different culture, different country, different architecture just really blew me away. And I would, just every year try to get my parents to go again. My favorite country was Greece, and it was amazing. Every time we had to choose a new holiday destination, I would definitely bring Greece up as a potential. And so my feeling of wanting to explore more of the world just grew and grew more and more the older I got. And a lot of friends took a gap year after school, which was around the age of 18, and would go overseas and just explore and learn a new language. And I was just too afraid of all of that. So I couldn't even imagine going on a holiday just by myself. And I just did not think I would ever do that. So that wasn't really an option for me. And I moved to Berlin after school to do a vocational training to become a technician for biological and chemistry labs. And after that, just moved on to find a good job and was working in that job for 7 years. And it was a small island up in the north of Germany. And it is an animal health research institution, which me ending up being in an honeybee, with me ending up being in the honeybee disease lab, which was super interesting. And I had a very supportive boss as well, who himself was traveling a lot when he was younger and did his PhD overseas, and just really interesting stories about his journeys. And so over time, I just, with more and more traveling and with finally taking my first step of going on a holiday by myself, which was New York, my very first flight by myself, I was really, really shitting my pants. I was so nervous. And, when you don't have experience in that, everything becomes so much bigger. So my first flight, I was really worried that I might end up sitting in the wrong airplane, missing my flight or something like that. And when you do it, you realize that it's not actually really possible to sit in the wrong airplane. And if you know where to look for and who to ask if you're actually lost, then it becomes such an easy thing. And you are not nervous anymore. So and in this case, your confidence in doing these things is just constantly growing. So having my first flight by myself to New York helped me a lot to see that I can do it, and having that challenge and to do things which I'm afraid of just made me feel so alive afterwards that I just thought, okay, I need to do that more often. And after 7 years in my job, I realized that I just need a change. I needed more. And all the travels I had with friends and family and the stories of travel I've listened to just really made me feel like I need to do that. I need that challenge. I need to challenge myself and grow from that. And the idea of living in a different country just became more and more over time. And this feeling of, okay, I really need to do that became more over time as well. So I was so nervous, but yet so ready for it, that I tried different things. I applied in different countries. I also applied in New York, in Boston, in Switzerland, in New Zealand. And it turns out it's not that easy with a visa. So to go overseas and have a job there, you need a visa. But to get a visa, you need the job. So it's that circle which is so hard to break. You really need to find that one opportunity which gives you a chance to get into it. And I had a nice interview with people in New Zealand who needed someone immediately. But because I have not had resigned from my job yet, and I also didn't really prepare moving my whole life to a different country yet, I wasn't ready to just do it right away. And so in that moment I realized, okay, there is a chance of me being actually able to do that. I just needed to prepare my life, prepare myself, and take the right steps moving forward, which I did. But I decided to first go with a working holiday visa because it was really easy to get at that time. And I was under 30. I was flexible, and I had 6 months in advance where I quit my job and said, hey guys, I want to go overseas. I would love to leave this position in August, and it was February at that time, I think. And so I gave my employer a really good time in advance that they could find someone else, and I could possibly even train someone else. And also for me mentally, just to prepare, like, hello, I'm moving countries and who knows what will happen after. Because in that moment, obviously, I left my full-time position, my permanent job, to move overseas and to not be really sure if I stay there, if I just go for a year, if I travel around, if I'm at the same place. I had no idea what will happen, and I was just so ready for everything which will come my way. So yeah, that was super exciting. And the company I was having an interview with before was very supportive because I really needed someone with experience in a certain test, which I had. And so we were still in contact, and then I just took my backpack. I bought everything new. I bought a nice fleece jacket. I bought a backpack and a little tablet so that I really have everything I need, and prepared all my interview documents and CV and stuff like that, all on USB sticks so that I could at least have that all if I need to. And I was also just prepared to work on the farm or whatever. I was just really, really ready to go. So ended up taking that flight, having a really nice farewell party with all my friends and family, and then departed. And yeah, I was just so excited but nervous, and ended up having just the best time. I was getting to know some people in the hostels. I was never really alone, making friends really early on, and where I also met my current employer, and they were really, really lovely and told me, okay, you can do whatever you prefer. You have this 1 year. And I was asking them if I can travel around the country for the first 3 months. and then come back and work the rest of my working holiday visa with them. And they were more than happy to give me that okay. And so I was super grateful that everything turned out just perfect. And I ended up traveling around a little bit here and a little bit there. I was pretty much everywhere on the South Island, and I absolutely loved it. But also I really wanted to then find a place where I can settle down a little bit. And yeah, my current employer, where I still am, is also a lab where we work with commercial samples, and I'm currently a team leader, so I kind of moved up a little bit as well. And they were very supportive of me and helped me with my working visa as well, and my resident visa, which I finally got as well. So I'm pretty settled here now, and I just visited my family this year. For New Zealand it was winter time, and in Germany it was summertime, so I escaped a little bit the grey, dark time of the year in New Zealand. And yeah, as mentioned before, I'm living here now for 4 years and still really love it, and got to know really awesome people, very grateful for them. And yeah, that's pretty much my story. Of course, every story has its happy parts and sad parts. I would totally lie if I would say everything was just happy and bloomy and dandy, and it was definitely also having some rough times here, being alone, feeling lonely sometimes, missing my friends and family. But at the end of the day, it was just the right decision for me. I feel like I have grown so much, and it was the right thing for me to do, to overcome my fears and go for it. And yeah, in this podcast, I would love to hear all of your guys' stories. Also, I will have other people on as an interview where they can tell us all about their stories, how they felt when they came, with who they came to New Zealand, or with who they moved to a different country, how they felt, what their struggles were, what their happiest times were, so that everyone who's listening to it, who would like to come overseas or move overseas as well, or is thinking to maybe do that but is not quite sure yet, or is still a little bit too afraid, yeah, maybe that might help you to make a decision and to see what's out there, and to hear that everyone is struggling a little bit sometimes. But also the podcast can be for the people who are already in a different country, that they don't feel like they are alone with what they go through. They are not alone with their feelings, and that every feeling is valid no matter how you feel. It's not always happy. And so yeah, I'm hoping that you guys get some information and emotion out of it, and that you can connect and relate. And yeah, if you have any information you would like me to cover, or you have questions, please just get in touch, and I will bring that up in another episode. So thanks a lot, and I'm hoping to see you soon.